everyone, welcome to another video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Irit. I'm a watercolor and mixed media artist based in Austria in Europe. And on my channel, I share my passion for watercolors. And today I want to talk kind of in a more practical way about color craving. This is one of my favorite principles or guidelines in my work. And I learned this term a few years ago when I took an online course from a wonderful artist named Flora Bowley. She is an abstract intuitive artist that works mostly in acrylic, and I learned that term from her. And basically what it means is how you feel about color combinations. And, you know, when you paint with, let's say, a pink, which colors do you crave seeing next to it? And also on the flip side, which colors you don't like next to each other. And I just found this was one of the keys to finding joy and being happy with my paintings and the process and the result. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And I just want to show you how you can very easily kind of use this principle when you're making decisions about color choices. So I hope you'll enjoy this video. Let me know in the comments your favorite color cravings, and let's get into it. Hey everyone. I wanted to share with you something that I thought might help you. I'm just painting this fun little abstract. I just started it, and as I am going through the process, I kind of got to this point where I have, you know, my main colors, or let's say colors that are going to take up substantial real estate on my page. So my pinks, and this is Naples Yellow Red from Lucas and Bright Rose. But then I wasn't sure which colors I want to add. And mostly I was thinking about like some darks to add some dimension. And so here's an idea where you can really just like very easily make it simple for yourself to kind of see how you feel about colors. And obviously there's no right or wrong here. This is just a choice, a preference, taste, whatever you want to call it. But here I have my more darker muted colors in my palette, and I'll just talk about them because I always get asked questions like what's this color, the third from the right. So let's talk about them because I really love all these colors. So maybe I'll zoom you in just a bit. Okay, so here we have my beloved Zoazite. This is a Daniel Smith granulating color. I think, no, not all of these are Daniel Smith. Zoazite, so this is a very muted, dark, granulating, greenish color that I really love as my dark when I'm painting with a lot of pink. Pink and green are complementary, so they really make each other pop, I feel, and I really like using this color, and I haven't used it a lot in kind of the last weeks or months, so I think I can see it coming back. This color is Bloodstone from Daniel Smith, and as you can see, it's kind of a granulating black. What I like about it is that it's not opaque, it's transparent or semi-transparent. I'm not sure the exact title of it, but you can see here it's still a bit watery, so I watered it down a bit. It has beautiful granulation, which is kind of a must for me when I choose darks these days. Again, personal preference. What I don't like about it so much is that it's so neutral. I somehow prefer these days dark colors that still have some color to them. So Zoazite is a good example. It's like very muted, but it still has a bit of a greenish tint, which works well to kind of complement my pinks. And so, while I really love Bloodstone, and you could probably have a lot of fun just like mixing this color, I don't use it a ton. Here we have, that's a good question. I think this is Undersea Green. I'm not sure. I have here in my palette Dusk Yellow. Let's see, maybe now out of the brush. Okay, yeah, so I think this first one is Undersea Green, which is another Daniel Smith color. Yeah, and you can see it's quite green, but it's like an earthy green. It has depth to it, I feel, and it has some dark granulation. And so I also like it. I don't know if it's dark enough, but it's definitely a color I would consider using, and I really like how it looks next to the pink. So the whole concept of, you know, color craving is which colors you enjoy seeing next to each other, and also which colors you don't like seeing next to each other. I have that a lot also. So this is kind of a really easy way to just, you know, test and see how you feel about things. Let's move on. Okay, so this was Undersea Green. This is Dusk Yellow, which is a color by Rembrandt. There's also a Van Gogh version that is cheaper. They're, I think, identical. So if you're on a budget, or actually I wouldn't even say if you're on a budget, I would say the Van Gogh version is probably, you know, the better choice just because it's cheaper. So this is, again, you can see it here. It's kind of a muted, even though it's called Dusk Yellow, I think it's like a muted green. It's like this kind of olivey green, gold green, and it has black granulation. The color is created by mixing, I think, a yellow pigment with oxide black or a granulating black. So again, it's a color that I used quite a bit, and I actually really like it. It has depth, it has that dark granulation, and I really like how it looks next to the pink. Moving on to two choices that are less contrasting, but I do still like. We have here Moonglow, classic, from Daniel Smith. And this is, as you can see, it's like a muted purple that has granulation in it. It has beautiful separation. I love using it. I love kind of dropping into it yellows because, you know, it's like purple and yellow. Contrasting color, complementary colors. Again, they really make each other pop. So I use this color a lot in my paintings. I think today I'm not feeling it. Next to it we have Dusk Pink, another Rembrandt / Van Gogh color. This is pink mixed with a granulating black. I love this color. I think here it's probably not the best choice because there's not a lot of contrast with the other pink. And last but not least, we have here this fantastically interesting color. This is Violet Hematite Genuine from Daniel Smith, and it's just one of the most interesting colors I have in my palette. You can see it's a separating, granulating color which has like these, I don't know, like almost peachy undertones and a strong black granulation. I do love it and I may use it, but it's not going to be my only one. So I don't know, looking at this, I'm kind of feeling the greens today, and I'm kind of torn between these two, but I can also mix them because why not? So this is a really great way of, you know, visually helping yourself make decisions. And here's another little card that I have, and I just arranged the colors. I'll show you all these cards that I made. So you can very easily do these and use them in your paintings. These are the colors that I currently have in my palette, and I just arranged them basically by color groups. And this makes sense for me for the way that I use color. So when I want something bright or when I want a bit more pink, I can pull out like one of these and kind of see which color is speaking to me today. Or now I usually like to add a pop of yellow at some point, so I can take this card and I can kind of see what I'm feeling today, which color is speaking to me. And this is just a bit more specific than just swatches of your entire palette, because every card here kind of serves a purpose in my process, or, you know, falls into a certain step in my process. So when I'm at that step where I want to add like a pop of color, I can grab like these cards and see which colors I like. So I can really, you know, test. Like for me, for example, I don't really much like teal next to pink. So So I'm not going to put these colors together, but you know, the green and the pink, those are making me very, very happy. And also probably when I will add some yellow, then I will enjoy more the turquoise because I like how it looks next to the yellows. So there's a lot of things you can understand or kind of figure out what you enjoy, what you like seeing. And this is a really easy and fast and just like a simple way of, you know, kind of feeling out what you're feeling that day. So I'm going to continue painting and then I'll check back with you a bit later so you can see which decisions I made. Okie dokie, it is the next day. There's just so much going on here. I'm trying to rearrange my space and I don't know, maybe one day I'll do a studio tour. You know, I would love to have my room in a condition that I wouldn't be embarrassed to show it to people. I'm very, very messy. So let me just tell you what I did here because I think it's just like really interesting. I used zoisite and I think it's just beautiful. Let me zoom you in as much as I can. So here's, you can have like a nice overview of the finished piece. This I painted, I mean, it was fun. I loved the process, but the purpose is actually a step-by-step tutorial that I'm writing. So there, but let me zoom you in. Okay, I just think, you know, it must be zoomed in for you to see the beauty of this paint. So if you're not that familiar with watercolors and their qualities, some watercolors granulate, which means you get this kind of effect. And other watercolors don't. So it depends on the watercolor, but the effect also really, really depends on your paper. And this paper that I'm using, it's kind of my go-to. It's pretty cheap and I have no idea where you can find it. There's usually a pile at my local art store. This is all it says, aquarelle. This is not cotton, this is cellulose, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't say anything. And this particular one, it's like really heavy. I love it. And this is the size that they have. It's like, it comes in one size. And this is cold press. It has a beautiful texture. When you get 15 pages, I don't know, if you're in Europe, maybe you can find this also at your local art store. I always grab it and I love painting on it. To me, it does everything I need watercolor to do. Very affordable. I love the weight. I love that it's so heavy. But my point with all this rambling is that the paper also plays a role with how granulation appears. And it's not even to say that rough paper will give you more granulation. Also on hot press, like smooth paper, granulation can look beautiful. So it's really about trial and error. But you can see that this particular paper, and from my experience, like most of the cellulose papers from Hahnemühle, you'll get a similar look. So really beautiful if you love painting with granulating watercolors, which I do. I actually don't really understand why my pink also granulated, but I'm happy about it. So there. But what did I use? I'm pretty sure that I used undersea green, I think mixed, or maybe it was dusk yellow. I don't know. It's a problem that I didn't. I think it's undersea green. So you can see just this, like also the granulation from that color. And what I really want to show you is how important getting to know your colors is. So these tones here, they really remind me of like other colors that I like to use, like dusk pink, which looks like this. So it really reminds me of that, but it's actually not. This is zoazite mixed with my bright rose that I used for my floral. So here's my palette from yesterday. You can see this is bright rose with zoazite. They really neutralize each other, so you can get to a pretty kind of neutral gray with all that beautiful granulation from zoazite. But the way that I like to use it also is just to add a little bit of darkness, a little bit more darker value, and just mute, like just a little bit, my pink. So this just means that I can still use the colors that I already have. I don't need to bring more colors. And I just love that effect. And I do think that many times using kind of a limited palette and really pushing the boundaries of what your colors can do helps create a more harmonious painting instead of bringing a new color. That has been my experience. I sometimes use a lot of color on my paintings, so I can't tell you that it's something I always do. But if I have I think here my floral, or like this abstract piece, really needed some darker colors in the center. So I could have brought in something like dusk pink, and I didn't want to use zoazite because I thought it was a bit too green or too neutral for the center. I used here actually a few lines of it, a little bit neutralized with the pink. But the point is that if you know how to use your colors, if you play around with them, you can get really interesting results and use less colors in one painting. So I just had a lot of fun, and you can see like all these colors, like all these interesting neutrals and semi-neutrals and like these details. This is bright rose with varying amounts of zoazite. It's just, I find these colors really, really interesting, and you just can't get this out of a tube. You just can't. It's so fun, so beautiful. Yeah, really had fun making this. So I wanted to show you. I hope you will do the same, you know, create kind of your swatch cards. I used them multiple times as I was painting. I used it again when I wanted to add a bit of pop of yellow, and I decided to go based on just like my color cravings that day with this color. A different day I might have picked a different option, and yeah, but this is a really helpful tool. And again, I used it when I wanted to add just a pop of color. Today I was feeling like cobalt teal day, and yeah, other days I'm more in the ultramarine mood. So it was really, really helpful, and I highly suggest doing this. It's super simple and very effective. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you soon in another one. Take care. Bye bye.